From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Well, hello, Mr. and Mrs. America. I am Keith Allen, and proudly welcoming you into this Wednesday, August the 9th, 2017's edition of For the People. It's my last day. You're saying, what are you talking about? Why are you so happy? Well, my daughter's going back to school. Oh, okay. I didn't want to scare anybody. I'll be back tomorrow. But she's going back to school, so it means that I am going to have to take her to school again. That is something I've been doing faithfully and with a smile on my face for since she started school. So that's just my job. In the morning, Mom picks her up, in the afternoon, and that's a beautiful thing. But, when I'm not biking, and I bike every other day, if the weather allows me to do it, I did my 16 and a half miles today, which is terrific. Yes, I am, I love cycling, man. It's a beautiful thing. But I have a little extra time in the morning because since she wasn't going to school, so I could watch more news before I went in and enjoyed my coffee a little bit more and pet the dog a little, that kind of thing. But no. Stationary in my seat by 8:23. I'll be in the studio much earlier, and that's okay. That's okay. More research, front and center, because, I have my laptop at home. So I'm able to do things when I'm, naturally, and one computer talks to the other, which is just beautiful. But my vacation, I guess, is over too. Darn, I know you feel so bad for me. But anyway, I was just thinking that this morning, after my long exercise, my little ritual, then I have the coffee, and then I kind of lay down a little bit. On the couch watching the news. Well, now, as the schedule is going to go, I have the coffee. I still can do that after I cool down because you don't want coffee right away. Body temperature cools, drink the water, then the coffee. Then I got to wake her up. My 14-year-old Kaylee is going to school, and she'll be going to high school next year. So she's going to be going to Plant High School, which is kind of a big deal. If you're from Tampa or know somebody in Tampa, Florida, Plant's got, for public school, a lot of graduates. They go on and go to do great things, and they got a great curriculum, great staff over there. And she goes to a great school right now, and we're just blessed to be able to be in South Tampa and take advantage of a good school system. So she's got some great teachers, and looking forward to her story being told because she's going to go out and do some great things too. She's a honorable student and honors classes, and she's just a brainiac. She didn't get my brain. No, she didn't get mine. But she's very creative, but great with numbers and math, and she's just way ahead of things, and so smart, which is just great. So I know I'm gloating over my daughter, but it's a beautiful thing, and if I get the opportunity. I have two others, too. I met when they were 4 and 5. They came along with the package when I got married, Kimberly and Melissa, and they actually have kids of their own now. They started early, but I have two great guys. They both have terrific jobs, couldn't ask for anything more, and, yeah, don't say it. Grandpa Keith. I've had a few of you make fun of me online. I think you just did it, you're just kidding me. It's okay. I don't have all the white hair and the Santa Claus beard yet. Not yet. Hopefully not. I'm still sort of I guess you can be a grandpa at any age, but, I think 47, you're ready to be a grandpa, right? Yeah. Now, my 14-year-old, hopefully, I tell her, no kids until she's at least 30. for her. So, yeah, whether she'll listen, I don't know. But it seems to be a trend. I look around and I see folks that are, have kids in, junior high, and some of the parents are in their 60s, 70s. Parents, 70s, in their 60s, and I think, wow, okay, I'm doing okay. But that's later in life. They're more established. They have the money, but I'm thinking, darn, I hope you live until at least you're 80 or 90 or something like that. You want to see your child graduate high school. I just worry about that kind of thing. But you know what? They could. Look at Larry King. That guy is, almost 100 years old. And he's been married, 3 or 4 times, and he's got young kids. It's got to keep you young or something like that. It's a good thing. Did you hear about Mark Zuckerberg? Yeah, the guy that owns Google. He's like a billionaire. Yeah, that guy. Well, there's some sexism apparently going on. The Associated Press reports it. According to this report, Google may face lawsuits alleging gender discrimination, and this is very real because more than 60 women who are current or former employees of Google say they may take legal action against the tech giant over alleged sexism and pay disparities with their male colleagues. That's right, folks. This is what they're accusing. This is some of the women accuse Google of paying them less than men despite having equal qualifications in similar positions, while others claim, this is another big one for Google, a hostile work environment towards women impeded their career advancement, impeded it. Now, this potential lawsuit would build on a case brought by the U.S. Department of Labor that has accused Google of systematic sexism in pay, different, and convinced the judge to force the company to provide its salary records, according to The Guardian. And the latest development, they were following Google's recent firing of male software engineer James Damore, who wrote a 10-page manifesto, more or less, describing his skepticism. He was very skeptical of the company and about the company's diversity initiatives, and it suggested that the men, on average, are more prevalent in the technology industry because of certain biological differences between the sexes. So Mark Zuckerberg, apparently, and he's discounting this, but many people think that he's going to be making a run for the White House. This is not going to go over big with women, I'll tell you that. 60 people. Some people say 60 people is really small sample size. But the spokesperson for the Guardian says there's always going to be a difference in salary based on location, role, and performance, but the process is blind to gender. Feinberg said the potential lawsuit would have a broader aim than just Google. Google is not alone in Silicon Valley, he said. The goal of the case is not only get Google to change its practices, but to encourage other Silicon Valley companies to change their pay practices as well. And women, ears perked up. Sexism? You've never heard of that in the workplace, have you? Oh, folks. Yeah, women can do things, and they've been doing things for a long time. But shame. And I know of companies locally here in the Tampa Bay area. I've heard it all over the United States, but I've seen it firsthand, where men in the travel industry, men in the rental car business and restaurant, just all sorts of positions get paid more respect. It's kind of like the good old boy club. Women can't do it. They're too emotional. They got too many problems. Well, first of all, not all women are really the same. So you got to change your thinking. Some people just haven't because they have their own businesses, but man, you can get some big trouble for that. I think that Google is really going to pay dearly for this. Press is not going to be good, and this is not going away. They're going to have to change a lot of things that are going on in Google. And if Zuckerberg really plans one day to try to run for president, he's got to get that fixed, and it's got to be convincing. I didn't know this was going on. Come on. He knows it's going on. Unless it's just called to his attention. I had no idea that we were doing this. I had no idea. You guys were doing that? Oh, no. We reviewed our practices, and we're going to make sure that and they have the money to do it. Now, not everybody has, say, the same qualifications, as was pointed out in this article. And that is true. But a lot of these jobs that these women are complaining about, saying we do the same jobs that these men and same jobs have equal qualifications, and yet we make $20,000 less. It has nothing to do with time spent on the job because some of these women have been on the job a lot longer. So there's problems there. The potential lawsuit would build on a case that was brought on by the U.S. Department of Labor, and that has accused Google of systematic sexism, like I say, and the differences. So it's there, folks. This is not just, hoopla. Google CEO Sundar Pichai said Damore's memo violated the company's code of conduct and advanced harmful gender stereotypes, but asserted that much of what is in the memo is fair to debate. So CEO Sundar Pichai, seen on March 2nd, I'm looking at a picture, it's a file photo, says that a memo written by an employee who has since been fired violated the company's code of conduct. Well, that's interesting, because Damore is reportedly pursuing his own legal options, such as suing the company for unlawful firing. Free speech at a private sector employer is not a protected right. This is Rick Rosen. He's a professor at City University of New York School of Law. He says most Americans, even some law students, believe that the First Amendment protects us all, but it only applies to government, to which it cannot interfere with our First Amendment rights. And of course, now we have a civil rights attorney, James Feinberg. He's representing the female employees. He claims that he's interviewed around 30 women, there we go, who might be part of that case, and found what he describes as clear evidence of gender-based disparities in discrimination at the company. And they are concerned that women are channeled to levels and positions that pay less than men with similar education and experience. And he said, adding that some women, despite having some positions and qualifications as men, receive lower pay and bonuses and other compensation. Well, again, folks, Google in the news. And I'm glad that Zuckerberg is making the rounds. They say he's talking to restaurant owners. Well, that's good because, they have Google ads. They make a fortune with their adware and advertising, folks. He's privy to do that when you're a billionaire. You can get with the folks to figure out what it's his brand. They look at changing the world in so many different ways. I really doubt that Zuckerberg really would want to be the president of the United States. I don't see it. Some people are speculating. I think trying to put the idea in his head, but I just don't see it. Here's a guy who dropped out of school. Trump graduated. Okay. Yeah, he's a businessman. Never in a million years would he thought that Google owned the world practically. Hey, man, information's power. And indeed it is. I've always said with the internet, it's kind of like a modern version of the Tower of Babel, if you know the story in the Bible. Sometimes TMI, too much information is too much information out there. I mean, if it wasn't enough that Big Brother's watching us, I mean, now we have Google, computers knowing just a little too much about us, and then the information falling in the wrong hands is troublesome. And I